Engineering, episode 12. So, this has been a couple of months since I have streamed last, but yeah, I'm continuing with our efforts. So, a couple of things might have changed in these few months. The AI landscape is changing very quickly. So, uh, but the mission of this particular channel, agent engineering, is still the same, to develop a framework for agent development uh, that everybody can use. So currently the landscape of it is uh, the cloud code being the dominant agent harness, as it is called, being used, and along with codex and other models like DeepSeek, Kimi, coming with their own agent harnesses. Uh, so that's well and good. I mean, so they serve a lot of use cases currently. But in this project, what I want to do is create a agent framework that allows creating coding agents and other types of agents that can uh, have like a better user interface, uh, because mostly the current coding agents, they are not very observable, and the kind of tasks that we do with it, a lot of details are kind of hidden from the developer. So one way this will be different is we'll try to uh, enhance the user experience of what a coding agent should, or any agent should feel like while using it, right? So this is why I had started this project a couple of months back, and so we were doing code by hand at first, and then we started using something like ChatGPT chat version or the Claude chat version to help us with the coding aspect to make it faster. So with from today, this episode, I will start using Claude Code to develop this agent framework. And the reason behind it is mainly because so I also wanted to highlight the evolution of how coding is changing. So in these set of like videos, it will be evident like that earlier we used to write code by hand, then use something like ChatGPT, the chat interface, and now it's mainly agentic. And using the agent will get some velocity, uh, so that we can come to a place where we can start using our agent, right? So these are the few things to clear out before we start. uh, yeah. So one additional section I would like to these uh, streams is of to cover some aspect of the news, because there are is such a rapid development. So it's better that we have uh, uh, like a few updates from what is happening in the agentic space. So I have prepared few news items that we can cover before we start. Yeah. So the so let me share my screen. So the first set of news is just the model releases. Uh, from the last time we were building on top of these models, there have been a couple of updates. So namely Opus 5 and Sonnet 5. Opus being as good as Fable. or close to fable, as they say. So we'll be using this model primarily as our main agent, even in the coding agent that we are building. On top of that, there has been so this is on Anthropic side on ChatGPT. So ChatGPT has released GPT 5.6 in a fashion close to what Anthropic is doing with Opus, Sonnet, and Haiku. These are the three level of models that they offer. ChatGPT has released Soul, Terra, and Luna. Right, Soul being Opus level model, Terra being Sonnet level, and Luna being Haiku level model. So the GPT's offering has converged to what Anthropic was doing with these three layers of model, and moving away from the models that they were building, like Codex, specific models for Codex for agentic capability. Right, so they have merged those streams following Anthropic. One additional thing I want to cover is the Kimi 3. So this is a new open source model. It's supposed to be as good as Opus, but it's open source, and so this is quite exciting that we have a frontier level capability for an open source model. So this is a good direction that it's one of the direction or the mission of this particular project is to have open source stack built for developers to do their to make their projects or do anything in complete privacy, right? So this is like a long-term mission of this particular channel. Currently, that is not very much possible, and the reason being that even to run Kimi 3, it will require a huge amount of local compute, which nobody really has it. So in few terms, it would require 1.5 terabytes of RAM available to run this model, and even with CPU and RAM inference, that is a huge amount of RAM to kind of provision, and 1.5 terabytes of GPU RAM will be astronomically expensive. At least for a local setup, it would be at least few $100,000. CPU RAM will be few tens of thousands of dollars, but it's not really clear of how, if ever we can do inference on that kind of compute. So although it's a good step, how local development would work would be to have consumer products, consumer computers that run models with these capabilities, right? So making this model smaller or heavily quantized would be the direction. I think it will go in that direction, and I am optimistic about that. Till the point we will continue our effort to build agents, or the agent framework, at least a framework to build agents, so that when we get there we will meet. So with that, I wanted to cover one exciting project that is happening in open source, which is Anti-Raz's DS4. So first of all, Anti-Raz is a very huge software programmer, and so he is the one who built Redis, which was open source in-memory cache database. He wrote it in C long time back, and now he is building DS4. So what he wanted to do was, when DeepSeek 4 Flash came out, he wanted to run it on his local machine, which I think he had a Mac Ultra with some 128 GB RAM, unified memory. Uh, so he took a couple of ideas from existing open source inference stack, which is the Llama CPP, and the GGML format of the description of the open weights, right? So he took that and he tried to squeeze all the performance out of the open source Mac, his DS4's inference logic. So he ported the Llama CPP and he tried to squeeze all the performance to do inference at decent token rate, like tens or hundreds of tokens per second on consumer hardware, right? So this is quite exciting that we are able to run DeepSeek version for Flash at least on a Mac machine, right? So after that, there has been couple of developments like Apple, a RAM supply chain has some constraints, so they have also increased prices on their devices. Plus, they have discontinued Mac Ultra Studio, which are like 512 GB, right, or 256 GB. So they have discontinued all of. I don't think you can even buy a 128 GB device from Apple right now. So or they either out of stock or they're building something new. But yeah, so getting a computer of huge size is also difficult now, but I think I'll wait for a nice balance for cost and what kind of architecture I am comfortable with, either Mac or DG Spark from NVIDIA or other personal AI computers that these big manufacturers are designing. So we'll see like which would be a better local computer for running big models. All right. So if you see this project, it's quite interesting. So they are currently focusing on DeepSeek version 4 Pro GLM 5.2, which is also, people say, it's kind of Opus-like model. So this would be a good one to run locally, all right? And they're doing all sorts of tricks. Like SSD streaming and all sorts of system level tricks to get the inference quality with good token speed, right? And as you can see also that this is developed heavily using GPT 5.5, 5.6, Cloud Fable, right? So this is a way to do engineering at like good velocity, and we will see like how we can build it into our agent framework using these models. But also develop new practices of developing software, right? So it will all be a discovery live on stream. So even I am not sure how it's going to be, but yeah. So that is where we are at with the news section. Oh, one last thing I wanted to cover is this post from NVIDIA about open weights. So there has been some pushback on open weights after Kimi 3 came out. Kimi K3 is the name of the model. That the America should ban using open weights. So so that is that would be a huge mistake, and the industry is coming to those terms. So NVIDIA releases that they should not block any of the Chinese open weights model being used, and there are a lot of signatories to it. Almost all the major companies, even OpenAI, which was uh, which was against open weight models, and their open weight model is not useful anyways. The one that they GPT OSS, uh, but they are a signatory to it, which is also good news. But two people are missing from this. Oh, I think recently Google also became a signatory. So I don't know if it is in the list, Google, or it's not here yet. But Google also is a signatory, and the only person missing is Anthropic. So I don't know what they are doing. Either they are scared that their business will go with this open source models, or what is going to happen, or I don't know if they are scared uh, for how it's going to get used, or they are scared for their business, right? But yeah, I mean, it's up to them to decide. Anyways, so if you see the Kimi 3 prices, right, so they are I think on the same level as Sonnet. So and running one locally is very expensive, so I don't, so there might be a downward pressure on price for these token rates, but it is still a good business to be in, so I don't know what they are afraid of. Yeah, so there's some commentary slash updates on what is happening right now. So yeah, 10 minutes in, okay, not bad. Cool, let's go back to the project that we were building, right? So this is agent framework that we were building earlier, and we've done a couple of stuff already. So it's a working agent, and it is able to do something like this. I will show you. So if I run the same in this particular project, right, I build a simple UI for it. So this is white, need to change this, but so if I ask something like explain this project, it will do agent start, right? I chose Anthropic, and then it creates a branch, tries to read a lot of files, right? So this is tool called tool results, all of it will log here, and then after this eventually it will say, okay, I have successfully explained, and it adds in a QMD file, right, which is what we have designed it in a way that, okay, this was an old design, I think it would not stand the test of time. So what we had done was, for each query for that the agent make, if it's a question, append it to the Q&A to form some sort of a memory of what was asked and what was answered, right? And the second one, the second is, so for each one we will create a branch, and at the end of the branch we will I mean, at the end of the agent session, we will get the user to merge the branch, right? So that is the workflow we're trying to hard code in this one. So this is where the project is. I know there's a lot of things to be updated, but this is what it is. So one thing I can see is, why is it saying inference is 0, and the time for it is 2 seconds. I'm sure it took more than 2 seconds to go through the whole thing. Yeah, but so this is a simple agent framework made on top of this, right? What it has is a couple of modular integrations, inference logic, right? For those, it has token counting with cache settings. It has a basic agentic loop, which when we do git, which is a git based agentic loop, meaning that every question, every interruption to it will be a git branch, right? Create a work tree and then do all the updates. Every file update is a commit, and then at the end there will be a PR which the developer can merge, right? Okay, we got a comment. We got a comment from my lovely wife. Loved catching up on the latest news. Thanks. Okay, thank you. Cool. Yeah. So carrying on. So yeah, we build a couple of tools. This is how it discover files and edit files, and we are building a control plane. So this is what you're looking at. So the chat interface, this one, is the first attempt at control plane, and the second one, legibility, is what I was building before I went on a break. And on legibility, the idea in legibility is that it kind of uh, creates uh, some understanding of uh, what the project it is started is doing. So this is some kind of memory as well. So this is same angle as the Q&A one, right? Because when the agent comes up, it needs to know where it is, right? So Cloud Code is quite capable of gathering a lot of information and understanding where it is and what needs to be done, right? But we want to make it a bit efficient um, uh, than Cloud Code. So we started with this, where we prepare some structure for the agent to read first, right? So that means in this project, we are saying that there are 82k 89.6k token, right? So this is kind of a mountain of tokens, and this is how the landscape looks. There are 2.2k tokens in the agent folder split across like this. So if you see, the biggest file is this, right? And so forth and so on, right? So this is what we had built for. So this will be like a map for the agent to navigate and see like which files are important, right? So it is like of a LS process. So we are trying to optimize on those aspects. Yeah. So this is legibility. This is starting with the legibility feature. What here you can see what we are capture is, the definition is the ease of which text can be recognized, distinguished, and read, right? So here, so from even our perspective, what is are we able to look at this project and get some understanding of it? Not exactly, right? So it just says what are the files and how much token it has and what is the tree structure, right? But yeah, so we have to improve this process so that it is both legible to us and the agents of what this project is about, how it's structured, and then we go into reading the code stuff, right? So this is the efforts it started last time. Today, what we're going to do is we start with one of the thing that is highlighted here is sandboxing, right? So let me put it in green. We'll start with sandboxing, and the reason being is I will start using Cloud Code for this, and I want to build some sandbox first before I'm able to use it, right? Because I don't want Cloud Code going rogue on my system. So I'll first see how I can build a sandbox. I already have a episode 12 branch ready, right? All the code is here. So that is one of the agenda, sandboxing. The other is we'll continue with some ideas about memory, right? So we have some split from QA, QA and some in the map.json, which shows the the tree structure of the project and how many tokens it has, right? So, we'll continue on the idea of memory to improve what the agent can do. Okay, right. So, what we can start with is, so Claude has a sandbox feature, right? Disabled, configure, bubble wrap installed, so cat. So it needs, so this is not the sandbox I want to use, right? So what I want to do is run Cloud code in something like a Docker or probably Podman, right? So I want to use Podman more than Docker. Right. Okay. So I think the approach should be fine. We'll get our Claude to create us a sandbox, right? So we'll say create a Docker file to okay. So we don't have a Docker file for this project, which is curious because yeah, I mean all stuff should be containerized. So we'll use the Docker file as a sandbox to start with, because currently we don't have any use of the container other than sandboxing. To create a sandbox for this project, Claude code. Right. So the Docker should have all the dependencies to build and run the project. So we need for it to be able to run the project as well. And what else do we need from this, right? And install Docker on it. Oh no, not Docker. Install Claude code in so that I can run Claude session inside the sandbox. Allow mounting. Let me copy this. Allow mounting file. Allow mounting secret file inside the container. Okay, let's see what Claude code gives us. So this is what I mean about the interface for developers, right? Now you're just waiting for this guy to do some stuff. Ideally, this is not ideal, right? So first, it does not solve for legibility, and it does not solve for observability. So this is what we are going to build. Yeah. So till we wait for this, I think we should name it Docker file.sandbox so that it not confused with containerizing this project. Now, if we want to run this inside Docker, so let's see what it gives. Okay, I'll just accept and then read. Where is the Docker file? Okay, Docker, ignore Docker file. Okay, so it installing Node, which is required for Cloud Code, right? Then all the libraries, so it went all in because I think it needs some control. We are starting with golang bookworm and then installing Node and then Cloud Code. So we need to be a non-root user here. Writable cache. Okay, so this is too much code to go through. It is produced. Okay, so yeah, overall basically it would create a user, or what is gonna do. Okay. So in order to sandbox the Docker image, what it is doing is null gid, okay, username gid. Okay, so it is saying that this Docker we cannot run as removing root, is from what I understand after reading this. This is too much, too dense to read. We will come back to this. Writable cache. Okay, it's making some provisions for non-root users. Username, then it will do command download, get everything. Okay, so and then it will run secrets af.env, right? Okay. So it is building. Okay, let me just accept this and then ask the question what it means by this plus the CLS entirely inside with the host file system untouched. Okay, so this is the what we want to achieve, right? That it only edits mounted stuff, nothing else. Match the host user, so files return into the stay writable. This is what I don't understand. Why is this required? Match the host user, so file written into the bind stays writable. Okay, install Node. This is fine. These are the only two pieces a bit confusing. Okay, client, why not load files? What does run sandbox say? Build if needed and enter the agent framework sandbox container interactive shell run sandbox.sh. So it will do docker run agent framework sandbox environment file. Okay, so it's making provisions for go cache the dependencies required. I don't know why actually to make the. So I have a couple questions with this, and so I'll ask Claude as soon as it's finished doing it. So overall it looks good, right? So it has added Docker ignore. So it is identifying these are not needed for development, right? So ideally we should split this. What are you doing? Line continuation prep. We'll try to question it why it is doing a couple of things. So this is the benefit of an agent like Cloud Code. Why is it making same edits? I've started using Opus 5, so I'm not sure if this behavior is specific to Opus. This is terrible. So this is what I mean by the agents not kind of letting us know what is being built. Okay, we'll go through the motions. Bash run sandbox, syntax okay. Okay, my bad for this. Done. Okay, now let's see what it is doing. So it took like 5 minutes to come across this. Some iterations on validate, I mean seeing if it's working or not, but still some time. So time is one thing that it's a bit slow, right? So it did this go tool chain git open SSH client. So this is required for go tool chain. Okay, makes sense. Node Cloud Code npx page npc servers. Okay, Cloud Code CLI. A non-root dev user whose build arcs defaulting to 1000, so file written into the stays owned by you and works, refuses to run as root. Okay. Is this a requirement that file written into the Docker system is? Because let's say if I do lsll, okay, so it is what it means that this file these details, the file info will remain Praveen even when it is written inside the Docker, right? So that is how this container will help, right? And then the last thing is Kuma download, expose AT, everything is right. Okay, sounds good. This is quite good. So, so we have our sandbox ready, and we just need to run sandbox.sh. Okay, we have our server running, so we have to close it first. Okay, oh wow, our sandbox is so fast, right? Now if I do claude in it, okay, dark mode, okay, oh, oh, oh. Okay, I need to be careful. Okay, have you in a sandboxed environment, what can you see? Okay, so a couple of things happened. We created a sandbox file. We started Claude inside sandbox. Why is it asking permissions? I mean, inside sandbox, I can just do this Claude permission mode bypass. Okay, let me see the Claude help. So we want permission mode to be bypassed. Where is permission mode? Permission mode to be bypass permissions. Okay, like this. Claude permission mode to be bypass, and I'll do a resume on my session. Yes, I accept. Potentially dangerous. Okay, right. I'll start with the same line of questions. So for folks who are joining now, what I have done is I created a sandbox which is a Docker file. I mean, it's a Docker image for development of my agent framework. So using Cloud Code or any other harness for that matter, right? So now I am running Cloud Code inside a Docker image and trying to see what its capabilities are, right? So that I'll see how. And here I have done permission mode to be bypass permission. That means it will not ask me anything before executing anything. So okay, so it's saying yes, I'm inside a Docker launched by your own one. What I can see and write. Workspace, your repo bind mounted from disk hosts per sandbox. Okay, so so it has information about how it is sandbox, so it is quite blunt about it. Okay, dot Claude cache build, Docker volumes, also host disk, so these are fine. Everything else is container. Okay. Two things it highlighted. It is not a right isolated sandbox. Anything I change here length on the file. Okay. This is fine. This is by design. Network is wide open. No egress filtering. Okay, I'm not going to make the sandbox strong just yet, right? I just want to start this. This sandbox, the sandbox sections for this particular this particular episode is just get get me started with it. uh, just me Get me started. So we'll just close all of this and try to see, um, try to develop the actual agent framework, right? So let's start with some eligibility questions, right? What is your understanding of this project? Another thing is not posted here, so I cannot. Oh, so wait, this is Docker or what? Docker, okay, not Docker exec IT59 dash dash. I should have a server running, right? So I need to do go run. Yeah, okay, so this is the explanation of the project. So it's a teaching oriented coding agent harness like from scratch. GitHub is AGPL3. Your current branch, explain the project. Entry point is a server, not a CLI. It takes environment. Oh wow. Okay. Right. So this is what it has explained the project, what this project is about. Right. So we are building an agent loop and UI. So what I want inside this is, right, update the Docker file to always a server running with a with secret flag, so that when I come into the sandbox, the server is also to browser localhost 8080 to test. So what I want is when we start the Docker file, it should also start the it should also start the process, the server that we're building, right? And it should be accessible from outside. So that's the only ask in this session, in this particular prompt. What we want is for us to iterate quickly. That is one point. But I still feel that this Docker file, which is a sandbox for this project, should not have so it's a kind of like a dev container in a way. It's like a dev container where we are running Docker as well, and it's not a container that we are going to ship with, right? I think dev container is a good place to explore and move this eventually. So I will not keep this as a main Docker file, because the main Docker file is always reserved for container for this application, which will be shipped everywhere and it will serve. Right. Right. So I think this is the last piece we'll tackle today, because we are also close to an hour into the stream, or 50 minutes. Okay, but yeah, I think this will be the last piece we'll get time to focus on, and we'll start on memory next week. Why is Docker not? Okay, this is not good. Let's remove this. Let's remove this as well. We want all of this inside the Docker image, right? Inside Docker, is there a let me do one thing actually. If I do Claude resume here, okay, create. This is this session. So this the Claude running inside is pointing to some other history. That's interesting. Okay, it's time to interrupt this guy and to run again. Build and run again. I want to rebuild this. AF rebuild is equal to 1, and then right now if I do Claude, okay, permission mode by Claude permission mode bypass. I forgot. Permission mode is bypass permissions. Okay. Resume. SQL. What happened to it asking the key? Okay, actually let me log in with my subscription. Why not? Yeah. Missing state parent. Maybe this is not safe to do here. Okay. Yeah, so these are the things we are going to solve with this agent. So, this is terrible interface. Docker entry point starts the server. Okay. AF server new start stop okay. Docker file copies. Okay. Run dot edt publish loop back. Okay, to pick up from the host, do rebuild. Okay. Okay, so I go out here, I rebuild this guy, go inside it again. Oh wow, the building is so fast. Okay, and then I should be able to see this here. Okay. Okay, we have successfully sandboxed. Okay, I need to close all of this. I will log out of it soon so that nothing is public. Okay, so we have a working sandbox for now. Yeah, I think this is a good place to close on this particular feature. So let me check out to episode 12 already exists, so let's just check out to that and add all of this to okay. What is AF server? Is it a binary? Okay. Remove here. So no need to commit that. Add a Docker sandbox support for a dev and for agent framework usable with cloud to be developed using cloud code. Why is nothing logged in my computer? Okay, so this is the entry point sh. It will help start the server. This is the Docker file which we went through. This is the building and running script. Okay, let's get this merged. Okay, cool. We have sandbox support in our agent framework, which is good progress. So this is what I mean by speeding up using agents, right? So this is where it will be. So yeah, today we were just able to make one change, adding sandbox support. But yeah, next stream will streamline what we want to build, and we'll focus on memory. So yeah, thanks everyone for joining. I think 5 people are watching, so thank you for joining. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask in chat, or you can email me at praveen@sanup.io. Would be happy to address. Cool. Okay then. Thanks everybody. Thanks for joining. See you folks next week.